You said we've got to take over the grassroots because they've taken over the high ground. They've taken over the federal and many of the state governments. But there is a revolt by the states redeclaring their 9th and 10th Amendment, not for secession, but to declare states' rights. And that's why we now have this internal UN document, not just ClimateGate, but this new internal UN document, 2 of them, where they admit they've taken over all the universities. They admit, in their own words, it's a communist system. They admit in here that they've got to be deceptive, just like the SPP documents from 2 years ago said they had to do North American integration by stealth. They say in here, we've got the youth, and the UN has programs that are teaching the kids to sing global warming songs. I have mainstream links to the New York Times where 7th graders come home and write mock tickets to their parents about taking a hot bath or shower, saying it's too big a carbon footprint. Al Gore's caught on video and audio teaching school kids to tell your parents what to do. Kathleen Sebelius has been caught doing it on C-SPAN. I mean, they admit we have a former Special Forces colonel assigned to Black Ops in Austin. This was in the Statesman, the paper, saying, I now run the new environmental carbon tax. So we have the cities through the UN control with the military. We have Northcom, not just not defending our borders, but saying our real mission is dealing with libertarians and conservatives and veterans and gun owners because they're not going to go along with the New World Order. I mean, so it's not just that the military isn't allowed to do their job. You've read the articles about Brigade Homeland, and tell that story about Wesley Clark, or was it? It
was McCaffrey.
Yeah, General McCaffrey, that's right. I'd read a separate article of Wesley Clark saying foreign troops may be needed. I mean, this is really happening. Here's the point I'm making. We've been right this far about what was going to happen. Get into the foreign troops. Get into how they're planning to lock things down, stage terror attacks, blame it on patriots. I mean, we know the next big attacks aren't going to be blamed on Muslims. It's going to be blamed on people like Craig Roberts and Alex Jones.
Well, you know, they've got to have some kind of a patsy. They've got to have some type of a scapegoat for everything they do. It's the old Reichstag fire deal. It's the Oklahoma City McVeigh did it deal. It's the Kennedy assassination. Oswald did it by himself deal. Backed by the Cubans, so we can invade Cuba. I mean, what they do is they set an objective, and then they figure out how can they get the American couch potato off the couch to support us in doing this. Because Americans are the worst ones in the world about sitting around and doing nothing until we get punched in the nose. It took Pearl Harbor to get us into World War II. It took the Lusitania to get us into World War I. So, how do we wake up the American people and get them on our side to go do whatever it is we want to do? And so what they do is they come up with some type of a situation, a terrorist event, whatever, and it could be anything. I mean, we could see something in the near future. We're being prepped right now with all of these different reports leaking out of Islamic terrorist types coming across the border. And I've been in contact with one of the border sheriffs down there, by the way, who they found Muslim prayer rugs, and they found backpacks, and they found Korans, and they found military patches from a commando unit in Syria inside an abandoned ranch house down there near the border where the people just gave up and left, and these people were coming across and staying there at nighttime. And the deputies drove up in this house, and they just ran off into the desert, and they didn't catch him. It was at night. But he put this out. He put it on the Internet. He showed pictures of this patch, and I had someone I know who speaks Arabic and all of that, who's from that region, identified the patch. He said, these are Syrian commandos that are coming over here. And they could be Hezbollah, too, because they work out of Syria and Lebanon. And so they're here, okay? We're being prepped mentally to expect some type of a jihadist attack here in this country.
And let me stop you again and then continue along that line. We're now seeing CNN, Fox, BBC saying the militias, and they're having imams that we know are CIA fronts say, we are the Muslim extremists. We're going to release 100 pounds of anthrax. We work with your militias, which is completely made up. So now they're trying to nexus and tie in the fake McVeigh types with the Muslims.
Yeah, I mean, there's how many of them out there have some dupe who's working for this whatever shadow organization that's behind this whole deal that is ready to be used as a throwdown to place the blame on militias, right-wingist Christians, whoever they fear, and they fear us. They fear Christians. They fear conservatives. They fear patriotic Americans.
And that's what the MIAC report states. I mean, did you get angry when you read the Homeland Security report saying Ron Paul stickers mean you're a terrorist?
Oh, yeah, and NRA stickers and all this other stuff, anything on there. And, I talked to a guy who was got stopped in New Mexico, and he got stopped simply because they had an NRA sticker in the back window of his truck, and they wanted to search his truck for guns. And he said, I'm a farmer. Yeah, I've got guns because I've got coyotes, And he says, I'm an American. I've got the Second Amendment. He says, well, you've got that extremist sticker in your back window. And he says, the NRA? I mean, that's how far it's gotten. The NRA is a constitutionally chartered organization that goes back to Teddy Roosevelt. It's very patriotic. Gun Owners of America, same thing. They're very patriotic. They want to.
Well, and that's the issue. They're declaring that real Americans, who are the last line against the New World Order takeover. I mean, the point is, when we get their internal documents, they're not talking about Muslims. They're talking about us.
Yeah, because we stand in the way of what they want to do, because we are the last domino. Look, Europe's gone. The UK is gone. Australia's gone. Canada's almost gone. I mean, with the gun control laws they've got up there, there's a lot of rebels up in Canada that are saying, I'm not going to do it, and come and get my guns. But they're, what's the population? Mexico's gone. Central and South America gone. All of those places are so corrupt. They're controlled, with the banks and the dollars.
Stay there, Colonel. I want to hear from your Army intelligence angle and what you're hearing from your colleagues, where all this is going and what we should do to get ready. Stay with us, my friend.